Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Weekly Coldplay. My name is Monica.
And my name is Daniel.
And we're a weekly podcast all about...
You guessed it.
Grinder.
Hi, gay.
Hi, gay. Welcome to the Butter Shop. Here at the Butter Shop, we're sashaying away with deals. Anyway...
We've been here since 1941, and we've been accepting of everyone for the last 4 months.
I just showed Daniel that video, so if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. It's on TikTok.
Yeah,
it's
look
so
up
good.
Hi Gay Butter Woman.
Yeah, that's all you have to actually just look up is Hi Gay. You'll get it immediately. I'm obsessed with that video, and I quote it like every Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everyone.
The way you're saying that reminds me of one of Brennan Lee Mulligan's CEO videos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them.
I'll show you some sometime. I think you would get a kick out of them.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I like Brennan Lee Mulligan. I always feel like I'm going to trip over his name every time I say it.
Yeah. Well, before he was famous, he was on a game show.
Yeah.
He was on Do You Want to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, man.
And they call him Brennan Mulligan, and it feels
so weird. Yeah. So this week we're talking about the film A Head Full of Dreams that Coldplay put out in 2017. That sounds right. And it had a release in theaters, like select theaters, and was also for Amazon.
It was an Amazon Prime original.
Yeah, but it's no longer on Amazon, so shout out. But yeah,
it's actually currently unavailable on any streaming service.
Yeah. I think the only way you can get it is if you have the super mega deluxe butterfly package, which we'll talk about in a couple of weeks, actually. No, we'll have part one anyway. You'll figure it out once these episodes are uploaded. You'll know what we actually talk about. Anyway, we're talking about the Head Full of Dreams movie, and then we got other news. And tour news. Coldplay are back on tour. They just did 2 nights in Stanford. They're about to head to Las Vegas. They're about to head to Denver. I wonder who's going to be there.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll have Charity. All right. So, first off, I'm going to start off with like a little tidbit from last week since we talked about A Head Full of Dreams. First of all, I forgot to talk about the Up and Up music video. It's great. It won awards. Chris is large. There are also other large animals. The earth is small. Chris is on the side of a mountain. He is a mountain.
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
No wonder it won awards.
Yeah, exactly. And then another thing, I was just scrolling on TikTok, and I saw a video about Slab City. Slab City is a city outside... like it's in California. I don't know where. I think it might be outside Los Angeles, maybe. I don't know, but it's somewhere in California, and there's like no law or whatever. I don't know. It's like some random TikTok that just popped up on my For You page.
Laws.
Yeah, there's zero law at all. There's like no police officers or something. I don't know. Anyway, but I looked more into it. I just searched up Slab City. Because I was just kind of curious about it, to see what this place looked like, and I saw a place that looked very, very familiar. If you are a Coldplay fan, it's this hill called Salvation Hill that has like the God is Love like on the side. If you open up your A Head Full of Dreams pamphlets right now.
Yeah, grab the pamphlets under your seat. We've taped them there in preparation. We broke into your house last night.
Turn to the page where the staples are in, and like the main
centerfold.
Yeah, what he said. And then you'll see Coldplay in the centerfold.
Yeah, and then check if the staples are rusted, because that does affect the grade.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, we know we're experts. Yeah, it would have been a 9.8 if it wasn't rusted. Anyway, so the Birds music video was filmed there. Of course, the Head Full of Dreams photo shoots were there as well. So there. Shout out TikTok for telling me something new that I didn't know about. Coldplay related. All right, A Head Full of Dreams, the film.
A head full.
Yeah.
A head full
of dreams. I saw this in theaters in 2017. I had like my whole little outfit that I wore that I was going to wear to the concert. But anyway, I had my cute little outfit. and I saw it with my mom, and I loved it. And I remember asking the the it was AMC, the AMC employees. I was like, hey, can I have this poster? I'm gonna post the photo of me, by the way, with this poster. All right, but it's the Head Full of Dreams poster, and I was like, hey, can I have this? And they're like, oh, sorry, our manager claimed it already, so no, you can't have it. Like, that was so rude. Like, literally, like, if that happened here, like, because we do have posters up that people can claim. If one of our employees claimed one, we're not going to say, sorry, one of our employees claimed one. We say, hey, like, sorry, that's already for another customer. Just say that. It makes it.
Sometimes I say it's for an employee. If it's someone we know,
yeah,
who I know will, like, take it well.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
but, like,
to a rando.
Yeah, I don't know these people. I'm literally dressed like the people on the poster. Okay? This was before I had my Coldplay tattoos, but, like, even then I would have been like, excuse you, this is my...
It's in my veins.
Yeah, this is my credentials. Light in the veins.
You just cut your arm open.
Yeah.
Look!
Yeah, exactly.
I have Coldplay in my blood.
Yeah, look, it's like photos of Chris.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we're just gonna talk through like bits about the movie, some highlights. All right, so
mostly quotes.
Yeah, so of course this movie was directed by Matt Whitecross, longtime friend of Coldplay. He met them at university and has been filming them ever since. And the film starts with Matt giving Chris a ring, and it's just like, hey, have you seen the movie? And Chris is like, nope, but I have one request. Don't start the documentary with the band walking on the stage. All right, that's corny. I don't want to see that, even though he's not going to see it. Yeah, but of course Matt was like, well, too late, the movie's already made, and he already did it. He literally did it. It's amazing.
What I want to know is, does Chris know? Has anyone told him?
I don't think so.
I feel like it's a 80% chance Chris knows, and a 20% chance Chris still has no clue.
Yeah, well, I think the move is that we meet Coldplay and we ask him.
Yeah.
Well, the main move is that, no, we get up on Songbook, and they're like, hey, by the way, just a quick question. What would you rate this on Letterboxd? Well, what's your top 4 Letterboxd films?
What's your Criterion Closet?
Yeah. What's your Criterion Closet picks? Hey, by the way, A Head Full of Dreams should totally be
in the Criterion
Closet. Yeah. Well, clearly it needs to be preserved. It was taken off of Amazon. Anyway, that's my Criterion pick. But anyway, so there's a quote from Guy. He said, "I still see the same people then as I do now." And then there's also there's this part where Johnny and Will. So it jumps back and forth from like present day to like the past and how they first started. So this is them in present day. Johnny and Will, they visited Ramsey Hall. That's where they met at university. And it was
where
just
they
very
lived.
Sweet. Yeah, it was just very, very
they all
sweet.
went to college to form a band. And while that plan does not work out for most people.
Yeah, wouldn't you know it?
Guess what?
Yeah, and then Chris, he would sing songs about everyone, sing about Roman noses. Everybody knows you have a slightly Roman nose.
Look, I can't help what shape my nose is.
Yeah.
I'm sick of this British twat singing.
And of course they mentioned that Johnny was the stone guy in the corner. We will mention that later. That's actually a
reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
It was really funny actually because it felt like some of the stuff Chris talked about in Stanford was the same stuff from the movie.
Yeah. So, they're just... I like how, they just still remember so much of, like, how they got together and, like, they really, like, reminisce on it, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's just very, very sweet. Johnny, he said, we had a sense something was starting, but we didn't know what that something was. Wouldn't you believe
It's a
it?
band.
Yeah, wouldn't you believe it was a band? And then this is my favorite part where Daniel actually missed. It's Cheese Hawk.
Yeah, so this is our second time recording this, and the first time I was like, "What is Cheese Hawk? What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it was so Guy, he would pretty much have a camera with him as well, but I don't know, it might have been Matt like on the camera on this one, but I know that Guy had a camera with him as well. But anyway, it was Chris. He had a like a hoodie on and a skateboard, and he just goes up to the camera and goes, "Hey guys, my name is Cheese Hawk." It's like the most Chris thing.
Tony Hawk's mouse cousin.
Yeah, it's like the most like, oh god, like it's something that you definitely expect Chris to do. It's so funny. Anyway, I had to include it because I'm obsessed with it. And then after that, Will and Chris, they used to play guitars in the stairwell together.
Yeah, Will was the guy. Will was that guy that they all knew who just played guitar better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when they were gonna record the Panic EP and they needed a drummer, they were like, "Will, do you know a drummer?" And he was like, "Yeah, my friend's a drummer. He's got a drum kit." And they all set up, and Will's friend just never showed up.
Yeah.
So finally, Will was like, "All right, well, how hard can it be?" And then that's how it all happened.
Jugga. Wanna be bigger, stronger, drive fast. Yeah, and the rest is history. Will also said that he's still trying to convince the world that he's a drummer. I think he's done a pretty good job. I would consider Will Champion a drummer.
I'm still undecided.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, for what it's worth, Will, if you're listening, I think you're a drummer.
I'm unconvinced.
And then one of my favorite Chris quotes here says, "Our sound is tasty." So he did like this interview where he was like, "Yeah, if you have toast and beans and whatever, ham and bacon all together on a plate."
Tuna.
Yeah, tuna. I don't know what the British eat. All on a plate, and you have it together, then it's tasty. Our sound is tasty. So yeah, I love that quote, and of course the infamous quote of Chris. And it's the 26th of June, 1998, and in 4 years. What was in 4 years will be like the biggest band in the world?
In 4 years will be the biggest band in the world. Will
Yeah.
be broadcast on national news.
Yeah.
And in 4 years and 2 days later. So actually, Chris was wrong.
Yeah.
4 years and 2 days later, they headlined Glastonbury.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And you know what happened 10 years after that?
I think so. I think I was there.
Yeah, what happened?
I saw Coldplay for the first time, and on June 25th, 2012. Would you believe it? It's crazy how the world works like that. Time. It's wild how time works, huh?
What's time? I've never heard of that.
And then Chris, he said we wanted to make the album that we always dreamed of, and that's about a head full of dreams. And how important it is to them. Will said, "Phil is real. Can you not see?"
Yeah, so they were in an interview, and the interviewer asked, "Oh, who's in charge?" And they go, "Oh, well, there's actually this fifth member most people don't know about. It's Phil. He's our creative director." She's like, "Is Phil really real?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's real. Yeah, I promise he's real." And then Will's like, "Yeah, you can't see him. He's right here."
Yeah, I love that interview. It's so good.
I love Will.
I love Will too.
Even if he's maybe not a drummer.
So if you don't know this by now, y'all, I'm Filipino, proudly so, and I saw this with my mom in theaters, as I mentioned earlier, and of course in 2017 for the Head Full of Dreams tour, Coldplay went to the Philippines for the very first time. I missed them by 1 week, literally to the day. 1 week. It makes me so mad still. Like we went to the Mall of Asia, and they were playing only Coldplay songs, and I was singing along to every single one of them. Anyway, I miss Coldplay. So they were in the Philippines, and there's like this part where they go up to a vendor, and selling hats, and then Phil is just like, it's important for us to not look like tourists. And so Phil is poorly trying to negotiate like the difference in pesos for the hats. Again, does it badly. But me and my mom, we were just cracking up because it's like, I mean, that is our culture, And I felt, I can't speak for my mom, but I felt, really proud, like in that moment of, I don't know, interacting with my people.
So, is it typical to negotiate for prices?
I don't know, because I don't really buy from vendors a lot. I just go into stores like malls and stuff, where it's like, like retail, it's a set price,
Right,
it's a
yeah.
mall. But yeah, I don't actually buy from like a street vendor all the time.
I'm sure I would haggle really poorly.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. So part of my job here is buying things from customers, and I don't really do the whole negotiate thing very often.
Uh-huh.
I'll just lay it out like, this is what I can offer you. These are all the reasons why.
Yeah.
You can take it or leave it. I'm telling you the number that's best for you that I can do right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to negotiate because it makes me anxious.
Yeah. Honestly, I do the same thing. Yeah, I think it is pretty common, but yeah, I don't know. I think it was just cute seeing Phil do it, and just Phil and Chris with their hats. And then, if you didn't know, Phil and Chris, they were in a band together called the Rockin' Honkies.
I want the Rockin' Honkies reunion tour.
I know. I should make a Rockin' Honky shirt for the Coldplay concert, and just be like, yeah.
With your starfish sign.
Yeah, with my starfish sign.
Okay, and now I need a pectorals hat.
Yes. Yeah. See, yeah, we need the whole outfit. Big
The
fat noises.
ensemble, the Coldplay.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta do it all. And of course, Phil no longer is in a band.
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay. Well, doesn't play any music in a band. That's what I mean.
That you know of.
You're right. That I know.
I think maybe
of.
he's the real drummer.
Yeah, maybe. And then.
Well, I need you to know this is all a bit, and I love you. I feel like I've taken it too far. I'm scared.
No, we love you well. Johnny, he said, a four-way marriage is a tricky proposition.
They're all married.
Yeah. And then there's this part where they're trying to make the track listing for A Head Full of Dreams, and they're trying to decide. Chris was actually pretty reticent, right? Is that the right word?
Yes.
Oh, hooray! Reticent to put up and up.
Do you know where I learned the word reticent?
Where?
What it means and how to use it and how to pronounce it?
Oh.
Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. See,
Reticent. There isn't a plenty doesn't jettison. Madison, he's mad as a Haddison. Take your medicine.
Yeah, but he was reticent to put up and up on the track listing, which is really surprising. And also didn't really care for Amazing Day. Shout out.
But he really wanted Everglow.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you can't win them all.
He was upset about Everglow, but because it was up for debate at all.
Yeah. But yeah, like during that part, they had just like a handful of dreams, a handful of songs for the track list, and I think it might have been Guy or someone said it was like, well, we definitely made an EP.
I thought that was Chris.
Maybe it was Chris, maybe it was Guy. I don't know. It was one of them. And of course, Johnny's bedroom was mentioned. We love Johnny's bedroom. That's where they used to rehearse and play together.
It's like Guy's apartment but bigger.
Yeah. No, I think it was actually much smaller. And then, of course, Johnny's ass was mentioned. Let's go.
Yeah, Monica's the biggest fan of Johnny's ass.
Yeah.
She and Chris actually are gonna have to fight for the title of biggest fan of Johnny's ass.
No, Chris got it. And then, of course, if you didn't know by your jokes earlier, Coldplay, they used to be named as Starfish. Originally,
they also used to look like Starfish.
Yeah,
so.
for one show and one show only, they're named Starfish. And it was at the first gig at the Laurel Tree. They were super nervous about it. They thought there were going to be 20 people there, but they were sold out. Turns out, at college, they seemed really popular. So it was really cool. But of course, they changed their name from Starfish to Coldplay.
To the Coldplay.
Yeah. And, they picked it out from, like, one of his
They
friends.
went dumpster diving.
Yeah. Somebody, of course, just threw the name away, Coldplay, and Chris was like, the band, all of them were like, we will choose that one. And they're still unsure. It's like, was this a good choice of a name? I guess we can't really change it now.
Yeah, look, there was a reason why that band threw it away, because it's hard to hear right. So if someone, like, walks up to you and is like, oh, I'm seeing that new band Coldplay, and they're not a worldwide sensation, so everyone's already primed to hear it as Coldplay, you might think they're saying, Cold Blade, or Cold Cut, or Gold Blend.
I love Gold Blend.
That should be your other sign. Here for Gold Blend.
Cold Cut. Phil, he dropped out of university to manage Coldplay, which is like, super selfless of Phil to do for them.
Phil and Guy were both like, let's put our lives on hold for this band.
Yeah, and hey, I think it worked out. I think they're
Are you
doing
sure?
pretty all right. Yeah, I think
we still have to wait and see, I think.
And then they talk about their gigs in Camden, which we have already talked about in our Camden episode here on the podcast, because there's a Hulu/Disney Plus show called Camden, talking about how hip of the scene and how cool it was and how important it was to play in Camden. And yeah, so we've already talked about other gigs and stuff there, because the first episode has Chris on it, and he mentions how important those were to him. So yeah, go check out that episode. One of my favorite Chris quotes here was "La bande Coldplay, la bande angst avec le singer, toitish."
What does avec mean?
With.
So is his name Twatish?
No, with the singer is twatish, like he's twatish. Like, Coldplay, they're an angsty band with a twatish singer.
I see.
Yeah.
But it's like with the singer Twatish, which in my mind is just like his name is Twatish, so that's like the poster. The band Coldplay, the band Angst, with the singer Twatish.
So, one of the big BBC Radio 1 DJs, Steve Lamont, he was at one of Coldplay's shows in Camden, and for the first time ever, Steve, he had Coldplay on his show on BBC Radio 1. They were an unsigned band at the time, which again, unheard of, first unsigned band to be on BBC Radio 1. And they played Bigger Stronger, which was really cool. And of course, I Back to the Future was mentioned again. Wee woo, wee woo. I love Back to the Future. Anyway, that's all.
All right, and then NME published top new bands of the 1990s, top bands to look out for. All right.
Yeah. And
you're going down the list, and the boys, they're reading this, and they get to the C's, and on that list is Coldplay. I think their goal had been to get it to be mentioned by NME originally when they set out to make a band. They were like, I want a band that'll be an NME. They hit that goal immediately.
Yeah.
But yeah, the article talks about, check out their no-key debut EP, the Safety EP. And by Christmas time, it'll be worth several mortgages. So after this NME tip was published, I mean, it got really hot. Everyone was vying for a copy of the EP. Mm-hmm. All of these agents who had been ignoring them, refusing their calls, suddenly found the demos that they had misplaced, and were getting in touch with them. And it launched their career.
Yeah. So if you have the Safety EP, I'm jealous of you.
It's worth several mortgages.
I don't think it's worth that much, but it is expensive.
I think NME didn't realize how much mortgages would cost.
Well, okay, hold on. Mortgages, in the UK in 1990s.
Yeah, it's worth several of those.
Yeah. And then the band got signed in April 15th, 1999 by Parlophone. Kind of before that, they were signed by Fierce Panda. And that's how they put out the Bigger Stronger EP. So there, a little tidbit. Hey, I at least have the Bigger Stronger EP. Shout out.
You'll have the others eventually, one day. I'm confident.
I mean, you know where I found the Bigger Stronger EP?
Where?
Barnes & Noble.
I'm pretty sure one day you're gonna be like at a garage sale and you're gonna find the Safety EP for like $2.
That's like my biggest dream. God, that's like I try to manifest it every time I go to like an estate sale or like a record store or something. I'm just like, please have Safety EP, and also please have an original Outlandos D'Amour. Those are the two things. And of course, they were doing shirt ideas back in the day. You know, parachutes came out, and one of Will's ideas was "We never change, do we?"
And then you never have to buy any other shirts because you just never change.
Yeah, exactly, perfect. And then they skip back to the present time. Beyonce's there, and they recorded him for the weekend in Chris's son's bedroom, in Moses' bedroom.
Imagine being Moses.
Yeah.
And going to bed that night, being like, Beyonce was just in my bed.
Yeah.
And also imagine the pressure of like, all right, son, you gotta clean your room. Beyonce's coming over.
I know, for real. Like, but yeah, that's just insane. And also, yeah, like Chris tried to make it look as professional as possible, and you know, it's still,
which is so funny to me.
It's still a child's bedroom. Yeah, it was really funny. But hey, listen, she still recorded the track, and it still worked out. They also showed Noel Gallagher, because he was not in Moses' bedroom
or Apple's bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. But Noel Gallagher was in the recording studio, of course, recording Up and Up. We talked about that last week. Amazing. I love Noel Gallagher. I love Oasis. I love Liam. Yeah, that's all. And they also showed Gwyneth Paltrow, Chris's ex-wife, also singing on Everglow, which we mentioned last week as well. So yeah, just everybody's coming up on, or everybody's featured on A Head Full of Dreams, which is really cool. And they jump back to the past, where they talk about Will and how he got kicked out of the band for a week because they weren't convinced that he was a drummer. But thankfully, it was only for 1 week.
Yeah, Chris had a lot of vodka cranberries, and then while he was that intoxicated, Will was able to convince him he was a drummer.
Yeah, it worked out. Of course, this episode will be censored. Chris said, "Don't fuck around with your drummer." So yeah,
that's
very serious
advice to live by.
Yes, exactly. And then Chris also said, "Without the other three, each of us are screwed." And then they talked about Will's mom, which I think we mentioned on our Parachutes episode. Will's mom unfortunately passed away around the time that the Yellow music video was being filmed, and the album is dedicated to his mom, Sarah Champion. So yeah. And then Guy said, "We really didn't know what we were doing and what we were going to be. Psst, you guys were going to be a band, and that's what y'all were doing."
Playing music.
Yeah, exactly. And Yellow, of course, being their big breakout hit, pretty much putting them on the map around the world. They showed videos of present day of Yellow, and them playing Yellow across the globe, and everybody singing along and absolutely loving this song. So yeah, it's just really impactful, good song, and you know, yeah, it was just really very sweet to see. So now we're on to talking about A Rush of Blood to the Head and making their second album. Of course, my favorite Coldplay video was mentioned, which was Johnny Goes Jazz. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it right now. Pause this, go watch it. It's literally my favorite thing ever. I love Johnny Goes Jazz. I used to quote it like all the time.
Why'd you stop?
Because, well, I can now, but like, I don't know. I used to just always go, does the saxophone play bebop? And is that a cigarette, John? Is that a jazz cigarette, John?
I have a friend who goes by Bebop online.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's a saxophone. Just a saxophone. Play bebop. Anyway, I love Johnny Goes Jazz.
You should start quoting it.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, so when they were recording Politic, they got the Philharmonic to come sit in and play for some nice orchestration, some tasty orchestration, and Chris called it the Phil Harvey Monic.
I'm obsessed.
It's just like if the Philharmonic was all Phil Harvey on every instrument.
Is it not?
Just like how the Trans-Siberian Orchestra is all Trans-Siberians.
Oh, they not? Happy Pride, hi gay.
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. And of course they meet Dave Holmes, who will later become their U.S. manager. And of course, Dave Holmes, he was trying to do his best to like kind of hype up the U.S. to the band because they were trying to break into America, which is very, very hard to do. Very hard to do.
Yeah, we hate British people.
Yeah, it's very true. And of course, at the time, okay, you have to think about the time. The time is like 2000, 2003. We're listening to Neo. We're listening to Usher, Britney Spears. Okay, that's where we are musically, right? Eminem, and yeah, pretty much like that, and like Linkin Park, like all those bands really like dominated the airwaves in the U.S. Okay, so hardly any British acts. You know, very rarely would there be a British act on, you know, on 104 KRBE. Shout out if you live in Houston. But yeah, so Dave Holmes was trying his best to be like, hey, no, like, you guys can do pretty well in the U.S. They did not do pretty well in the U.S. And they had, like, lots of troubles with touring here. Yeah. But they had so much trouble touring here. But obviously, eventually, it worked out.
Trouble is actually about Dave Holmes apologizing to the band.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, you know, they had a lot of breakout hits off of Rush Blood to the Head, so it ended up being okay. The biggest one, of course, 2003 was Clocks. So I think
I almost forgot about Clocks. I was like, yeah, you know, like Politic, Rush of Blood to the Head. I just forgot Clocks was a song.
Yeah, no.
The Scientist.
Yeah. But no, I remember so vividly. I mean, it took me, like, whenever I got into Coldplay, I didn't realize that Clocks was by Coldplay. I heard the song all the time. Like, that iconic piano riff is iconic. But yeah, that song was played everywhere. I just didn't make that correlation, obviously. So yeah, so finally, obviously, they were able to break into America, and just back to present times, and Chris was soundchecking Prospects March. Amazing. We love to see it. We love Viva La Vida or Death and All of His Friends.
Whichever one you're feeling.
Yeah. And then Chris goes on about how he presents songs to the band and where they come from. Chris goes, no one knows where songs come from. And he
and
also
no one
goes,
knows where they go.
Yeah. And Chris also says he goes by the okay, no way spectrum on how to like here's a song, it's either going to be okay, great, we're going to use this song, do something with it, or no way, we're not going to touch that ever again. And he also said that his hit ratio is about 1 in 10, which is really surprising to me, honestly. I want to know about the other 9. I really want to know about the other 9.
I think it's like me and something I'm about to talk about soon.
Yeah.
Which is, you don't. You're going to hear them and you're going to be like, oh, never mind.
Oh, okay. But there's a part where Chris is kind of singing, like he's singing, of course, he's making up a song on his acoustic guitar, and just kind of poking fun of how Will and Guy don't ever agree on what song to choose, or what song that they would like.
They agree with each
Chris
other,
like.
Just not the rest of the band.
Yeah.
Not Chris.
Yeah, and you know he goes, Will and Guy and their fucking opinions.
He also sings about how they probably wouldn't like that song either.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about with you and those other 9 songs.
Yeah.
So previously, we talked about the album Milo Xyloto, and I read from Life in Technicolor, one of the fun facts was that originally Charlie Brown had Will playing the accordion, and Guy was like, I just cannot let this happen, and vetoed it. And I said, man, I really wish I had that version. I want to hear Will play the accordion. And there's a clip of them practicing with Will on the accordion in this movie. Guy was right. Look, Will, you're playing the accordion really well. I don't like it.
Man,
And
I like it.
I have enjoyed watching middle and high schoolers play bagpipes in a band.
Oh, God.
together. And I still think I liked that better.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I liked it.
They were really talented at the bagpipes.
Well, I think Will is talented at the accordion. Hey, listen, without Will actually playing that on the accordion, we wouldn't have gotten Charlie Brown at all. So I had to thank him a little bit.
Oh, no, yeah, I don't want it. I don't wish he'd never done it. I'm
Yeah.
just glad it wasn't on the album.
for sure. And then Chris says, Johnny is my hero, of course. And he goes, his guitar just really gets me going. And this, it was like the way that he said it. I'm like, dang, calm down, put it away.
Slow down.
Yeah.
Chris got into that eucalyptus again.
Yeah.
In addition to a handful of dreams, the band also had a handful of spats. When they were trying to figure out a head full of dreams, they got into arguments, obviously. Guy and Will had all their opinions, and Chris and Johnny other opinions that were pretty different, and they would have some tense moments, and a lot of times Phil would come in, could just tell from the energy of the room that they'd been fighting. And so eventually Chris was like, all right guys, let's all prank Will and pretend we've been in a huge fight. And they all just got really quiet, and Phil came in, and they were all just like, hey. And then someone was like, this is too mean.
Yeah, and of course they break out in laughter, and it's
Yeah.
all okay. Everything was okay.
No one was fighting.
Yeah, they all love each other.
They're brothers since 1997.
We love them.
They're all husbands.
So anyway, so Phil quit during X and Y.
Yeah.
Which is, really sad because it was just taking a toll on his physical and mental health. So he just had to take a break away from managing
Breakaway by Martin Garrix.
From managing. So dumb. From managing the band. So I think that's why they don't really like that album that much, that era, is because they have just such a lot of bad memories associated with it, because they didn't have any direction to go, because that was literally Phil's job, is that he helped them out, kind of,
direct them.
Yes, yeah, literally, direct them and guide them to the choices that they need to make to
the songs. They're on a journey to the songs.
Yeah.
And Phil shows them the way. And
Yeah,
without Phil,
exactly.
they're just kind of wandering through the desert.
Yeah, and not just that, also choices, either, aesthetically or, where they should go on a tour.
What I keep coming up against with, especially with Ghost Stories, Head Full of Dreams, is Phil being the one to find these artists and curate the art and put the art up in the recording studio to influence the band.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of an overlooked aspect of Phil's contributions.
Yeah, they really, I think that they just really need Phil around,
It's not Coldplay without Phil Harvey.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like it's not Coldplay without Will.
Yeah, exactly. But Chris said, luckily we had Fix You to get us through that period. That was obviously their big hit from that record. They still play it to this day, obviously. The only song that they play from X and Y. Hey, the anniversary is coming up for X and Y, by the way. It's on June 6th, which is also night one, I think it's night one, of Las Vegas. So maybe, hopefully, I don't know, the Curls are coming back. Maybe we get some X and Y songs.
They're gonna play Twisted Logic.
Yeah, right. They're finally gonna play Twisted
They're
Logic
gonna play
live,
Talk.
y'all. Finally, they're gonna play. They're gonna actually perform all of X and Y.
I thought they did play
All the way
Twisted
through,
Logic
just
one
once.
time. live.
Maybe they did, but I don't know.
But
I mean,
not on the Twisted Logic tour.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't there. So, but yeah, I don't know. So that's just something to think about. Maybe I want there to be. We'll also mention more stuff later, kind of along the lines of that too. That kind of looks similar. Anyway, I also wrote down. Dang, remember when guys sang vocals? Dang, remember that?
I remember. I remember.
And unfortunately, around this time, there was a New York Times article that came out that said Coldplay is bedwetters music, which pretty much kind of like solidified their like where they were culturally. But like the reason why I got picked on growing up for liking them. And why, even if I do, like, I'm still scared to mention that I like Coldplay, is because of this article. And that in 40-Year-Old Virgin. So, shout out. But you know what? Happy Pride Month. Do you know how I know you're gay? It's because you listen to Coldplay. Happy Pride Month.
Look, that's why Chris has the pride flag. Actually, it's because of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, right on. It's just one big reference to 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. It's not about the gays at all.
Yeah.
It's about the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
and yeah, it just really sucked and was like just a tough time overall. But thankfully, Phil, he came back for Viva, but not as a manager. He just was there as like a creative director and to guide the band to where they need to be guided. They also bought the Beehive. Before the bakery, there was the Beehive. If y'all didn't know, the Beehive was right next to the bakery.
They needed honey to bake with.
Yeah, exactly. I think the bakery was still open while they were recording the Beehive. I don't quite remember.
Pro tip about baking with honey. If the recipe says 1 drop of honey, just use 1 drop of honey and not all the honey. Or you are going to get stuck to your octopus, penguin, and butterfly friends.
What are you going on about?
A children's cartoon called Oswald.
Oh, okay. Well, I did not know that. Okay. But yeah, they before the bakery was the Beehive. We love the Beehive. And of course, Brian Eno, he was producing Viva La Vida, or does all of his friends. So everybody say thank you, Brian, right now.
Thank you, Brian.
Of course, Brian
that car
Eno.
in the background was also thanking Brian.
Brian Eno is also known for being very experimental. We already talked about this on our Viva episode, but in this, Johnny is shown wearing blindfolds, which was just really funny to me.
Yeah, and look, you gotta try some things out to keep it fresh and interesting. Things can get stale over time.
Yeah. But the band was going around in Barcelona recording harmonies, and they sounded so beautiful. What was the song? Was it Lost that they were recording?
Lost, yeah.
Yeah, that just sounded so good. As well as, of course, the singing, the Viva chant. We all know it. Anyway, I just only want to hear those.
And no other Coldplay songs ever?
Yeah.
Not even Ode to Deodorant?
That's okay.
Really?
Yeah. That was me singing. That was part of the harmony. It'll line up.
It's like One World again.
Oh, one. Anyway.
Yeah, so here is what they say about MX. I'm going to tell you everything that the movie says about MX. Ready? The MX era started. Then the MX era ended, and afterwards Chris had a hard time. That's pretty much the whole overview of the MX era. And it's just a transition from Viva into Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
I understand that you already made a video about Milo Xyloto.
Yeah.
That already came out. I've watched it. I liked it a lot. I would have liked some more details. I'm sure there's some more things you have to share with the class about Milo Xyloto and all the other guys. The Car Kids.
Yeah.
Aiko.
Oh, shout out Aiko.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah, you see, the way I see it is that they're like, oh no, pause this right now. Go watch Live 2012, then come back.
No, but they should have put in new content.
Of course, as Daniel just mentioned, it was a difficult time for Chris after the Milo Xyloto tour, because of course Chris split with he did a conscious uncoupling.
Not
I was
an
like, unconscious
The
coupling.
opposite is an unconscious coupling.
Yeah.
Which did happen in an episode of House. This
Did it?
lady was not just sleepwalking; she
Oh.
was having sex with her ex-boyfriend
Oh my
who lived
goodness.
downstairs.
That's literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Unconscious coupling.
Okay, well, yeah. So the opposite of that, they had a conscious uncoupling, and the band really tried their best to be there for Chris. I mean, we mentioned this already on our, on our Ghost Stories episode. We're basically reviewing everything that we already talked about. But Chris, the band let him write ghost stories so that Chris can really
He could process his feelings.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. I'm very hungry and I'm very tired. We're recording this at night.
I'm the Monica translator. So.
Yeah. What Daniel said. That's what I said. It was therapeutic for Chris to make that album. They showed some clips from the Super Bowl halftime show. It was really cool. I watched that live. I went to my family's Super Bowl party. They talked the entire time while Coldplay was performing. I was very upset. I was very, very upset because I was obviously very excited to hear Coldplay perform at the halftime show. And I did not get to hear them because they just kept yapping.
You should have yelled.
I wanted to so badly.
Everyone, shut up!
Yeah. Please, it's my favorite band! God! I don't care about your feelings about Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Just let me listen to this. It was not fun. I did not. My family is mostly conservative, and you could probably just get the rest from there. Get context clues, read between the lines of what the comments were. I was not very happy. Anyway, Will said, what's still the same is our passion to make music together. And, I think that's just very sweet. And then Phil said, I hope it's not the end. Guy said, I'm excited to see what happens next. Of course, we already know what the end of Coldplay will be. During this point of the film, they're like, every album that comes out is like our last album. But now we actually know what their last album will be. And I'm sad about it. I mean, I'm happy that they get to end on their terms, but yeah, I'm still sad about it. It's bittersweet,
but they're not going to stop making music.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident about that.
Yeah.
I don't think they're capable of it. If Chris could turn off the thing in his brain that wanted to keep making music, he would have by now. Mm-hmm. He can't.
No, he really can't. He doesn't know where they come from.
It's like, so there's this really stupid YouTube series, and there's a character named Rocky, and he mostly just throws up all the time.
Oh.
Anyway, at the end of season 1, it's discovered he had an infinite matter generator in his mouth.
Oh.
That was just generating all the vomit.
Huh.
And so it's like that, but it's in Chris's brain, and it generates
it's
songs.
It's music, yeah. And then lastly, of course, Believe in Love.
Believe. I can't hit those notes right now, but man, this bit makes me cry every time.
Yeah, it's so good. It's such a good speech. We'll talk about it more when we talk about the butterfly package. But yeah, it's just really like hopeful. That's why I really like going to seeing Coldplay. That's why I listen to their music, because they leave me feeling so hopeful for everything.
And we need that.
Yeah.
Now more than ever.
Oh yeah, we definitely do. And then there's end credits. There's some videos, some home videos during the end credits. There's one of Chris hitting a really high note. A high note.
Yeah, Chris has. Sutton Foster's got nothing on Chris.
Yeah, exactly. He's got such high notes. And then Chris also goes, "We're the only band in the UK to have 2 members with webbed feet." And they found that out in the
shower.
In the shower, yeah.
You make it sound like they were all in the shower together.
Well, maybe they were. Who knows? I don't know. And then also, they were recording harmonies for Solid Ground. If you guys don't remember that B-side. When I get back, on solid ground, and I made my way to you. Anyway, they were making harmonies for that song, singing harmonies for that song, and Chris just kept laughing at the band because it just sounded just okay. It was really funny. And then,
see, I don't know that song. I didn't mention this the last time you brought it up.
Yeah, well,
I was
mean,
too sick to talk. But.
I mean, it's not on Spotify at all. Like, it's like a YouTube only, whatever, demo, blah blah blah. Anyway, I used to listen to it a lot though. I don't even care for the song that much, but and then they showed the nappies because we love the nappies. And then my favorite part, which was at like very very early days of Coldplay, Will is at the piano, and then Chris is just singing, and he goes "Move like a dancer," oh my God. And then he starts rapping, and he gets really close to the camera, and he's really there's a lot of spitting. He's like Jonathan Groff, and yeah, there's a lot of moisture going on. And I remember whenever I watched this, my mom was like, "Ew." Also, speaking of my mom and watching this, so whatever, we were in Seattle and we rewatched this, and she told me that she didn't remember seeing this in theaters. I'm like, okay, you literally drove me, and so we watched this in Seattle because obviously we had just seen Coldplay, and I just needed to make myself feel better from missing Chris and Phil at the Coldplay Extra Meetup. Oh, still hurts me to this day. But
does it hurt like heaven?
Yes. No, it doesn't. It hurts like hell. And after we watched that, we went to Pike Place Market, and without my mom watching this, she wouldn't have recognized Chris because she recognized him from the way that he walked from this documentary. Just remembered, stored it into her brain, and was like, there's only one man I've seen that walks like that. And then she calls me immediately and was just like, hey, Chris Martin is here. And I go, you said what now? I bolted out of that like bookshop. I was in a bookshop. I bolted out of there. I probably looked like I stole something, which I feel really bad about. Sorry, I did not steal anything. I just looked like that because I'm trying to chase this British man. British man, my bad. And yeah, that's it. That's A Head Full of Dreams. I rated it 5 stars on Letterboxd. Love it.
That's
love
Monica's
that movie.
Criterion Closet pick.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, of course, I love A Head Full of Dreams. All right, on to other news. All right, I'm gonna take this one real quick, Daniel. Sorry, it is because it's about my favorite band before Coldplay years ago.
BC.
Yeah. Yeah. So Joe Jonas, he did an interview. I don't know with what magazine, but he did an interview, and he mentioned how Coldplay was his first favorite band. First and favorite band still to this day. He mentioned that the concert they went to in Athens last year was the best concert he's ever been to, and he also talked about the impact of Yellow, and like he grew up with that song and the impact that song had on him and hearing it live. Yeah, like literally, right before I got into Coldplay, I was obsessed with the Jonas Brothers. Okay, loved them. Went to go see them at like a small venue here, like on a Radio Disney tour. Like I was all about them. I loved them.
You're making it sound like you're not still obsessed right now.
Well, I'm not. I'm not seeing them on tour. I don't listen to their music now. Like I don't. I listen to It's About Time sometimes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like Coldplay levels of obsessed. Like
yeah,
I got completely literally. I had websites dedicated to the Jonas Brothers. I mean everything that I am like. How I am with Coldplay today was how I was with the Jonas Brothers, and it was like an immediate switch onto Coldplay. So yeah, so it's good to know that Joe and I.
That's
Joe
what
is my
happens
favorite.
when puberty hits.
Yeah, exactly. Joe and I now. It's good to know that we have something in common in loving Coldplay.
The Billboard UK Players List included Coldplay's management team this year. This list comes out every year to recognize music industry leaders in the UK. and Coldplay's management team is definitely working very hard.
Yeah, shout out Phil. Jin posted a behind the scenes video of him doing sound check and performing at Coldplay's at Coldplay's Korea shows. There's one part where Chris just fully picks up, like he bends down, like Jin is like bowing to Chris, and then Chris also just like bows, bends down, but then just fully just picks him up and is just carrying him like on his shoulder, and it's so cute. And there are like other videos too. I mean, well, it's like this one long video, but I don't know where to find it. Okay, if you could tell me where to watch the full thing, please. I don't know how to find it. I tried so hard. I don't know any Korean.
And you got so far.
Yeah, I did not get that far.
It's fine. In the end, it didn't really matter.
But yeah, there is a whole behind the scenes video. I don't know where it is, but I saw clips and it's cute, and I love Coldplay.
Coldplay shared an Apple Music playlist that featured their summer set list, aka just their set list, on their Instagram story. The description mentioned that this was the final leg of the tour, and I Am a Mountain was not on the playlist. But I still have hope that it's a bait and switch, and they're gonna try to surprise us.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: Charlie Brown was on the playlist, but God Put a Smile on Your Face was not. So, yeah, as we already know, that's not even, it wasn't even accurate.
That's spoilers for later this episode, Monica.
Oh well. We're literally gonna talk about it next. And then as well as it being the final leg. I think it's the final U.S. leg of the tour, which is really bums me out. Okay, I don't want it to be the final leg of the tour, but
I have a passport now, so we can go see them in other countries.
Yeah,
it's fine. It means that they're gonna get ready for a new tour, and that's when they're gonna finish this and then do the moon. No, okay, look, they're gonna finish this so that they can do the Moon Music tour.
I miss them already.
We're seeing them in a week.
I miss them already. Anyway, that's the news.
That's the news. Alright, on to tour news. Coldplay are back on tour in the U.S., and they kicked things off in Stanford, California. Just days before the first show, Chris was seen sound checking what Monica could tell psychically was Charlie Brown.
It was the same stance.
Yeah, he stands a certain way during Charlie Brown. It sounds like I'm making fun of Monica, but I do wholeheartedly believe that she's right.
On the day of the show, a fan spotted Chris' piano, and it had like a series of squares and circles. I'll show you the photo. But it's like squares and circles and lines, and it looks like some kind of code. There's some lights, and I mean, listen, we could be looking into it, but it kind of looks like X and Y a little bit.
Okay, here's the thing. You haven't shown me this yet. I love codes. If this is a code, I'm gonna crack it. I'm gonna solve it. Monica skipped over one, so I'll say it.
Oh yeah.
The band posted a slideshow on Instagram with photos and videos of them sound checking. Yeah, that's all.
It's very cute. There you go.
Will made a post, his drum post, saying, "It's a supreme honor to be playing the first ever concert at the Stanford Stadium and a perfect way to start this leg of the tour. The mighty El Palo Alto tree germinated in around AD 940, which is coincidentally also the year that the Music of the Spheres tour started." Laughing emoji. WX.
All right, so Stanford, night one. Chris's so we now have the curl watch, everybody. Chris's curls, they're in full effect. We love to see it. I love to see it. Woohoo! Songbook was magic, rotational. It's back, maybe. Miss God Put a Smile Upon Your Face. Eliana and Willow joined for We Pray. Chris also played the piano beautifully right before We Pray. I was freaking out. It was so good.
As opposed to uglily.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen them just smash on the piano.
Yeah, during Clocks.
Yeah, exactly. Clocks was performed for the 1,000th time, literally.
Yes, actually. According to setlist.fm, that was Coldplay's 1,000th performance of the song Clocks.
Right on.
I don't know if that's 100% accurate, because I don't know what all setlist.fm counts and has on it.
Yeah, but it's a lot of things.
Yeah, so this is when we celebrate it.
Yeah. Chris mentioned Grindr again.
He can't shut up about it. It's his favorite app.
Yeah. And then Chris said Johnny was finally drug free.
Finally.
First mentioned that, back in 1996, I just saw this guy smiling in the corner, just like we mentioned.
And I was like, hey, what's that about?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Why is he like that? Turns out, well, Johnny's finally drug free.
And they found Will on America's Got Talent. He was juggling, but they thought he had promise.
Yeah, and then America's Next Top Model.
That was Guy.
Guy came in 14th. There was actually a Reddit post that was just like, hey, Chris just said this, and I'm not finding anything. Chris, stop lying. Stop. All right. And then Stanford Night 2, Kura Watch, they're still there, not a scissor in sight. Songbook was In My Place with Johnny. Rotational, maybe, was good for Spawn Upon Your Face. And brand new effects, brand new wristband effects. Right before Sunrise, right before C Stage, shown off. Shout out Shaheem, we love you. We have like a little surprise for you whenever we see you.
Shaheem, we made you something.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
It was so my idea, and then Monica made it, so it's got like a little bit of both of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. I hope that you're able to get it. But yeah, we'll give it to you. We'll find you.
We'll find you.
Yeah, we will find you. we know which booth you're at. Well, if you're not at that one, then you're at the other one. There are 2 booths specifically. Anyway, that's the tour news.
Hooray! All right, finally, this is the portion of the episode where, since we don't make any money, we have no sponsors, we highlight a different charity every month. This month is Pride Month. And this month I'm going to be talking about a charity called the Global Action for Trans Equality. You can find them at gate.org or gate.org. We'll have that link in our episode description. They're an advocacy organization. They were founded in 2009 to fight to advance justice, equality, and dignity for trans and gender diverse communities across the world. They were founded to address the discrimination and violence faced by many trans and gender diverse people. People were being denied access to education, healthcare, and legal rights, and access to gender-affirming healthcare was difficult and often required humiliating, prerequisites. And in some cases still does, although I'm finding myself very lucky that I'm seeking gender-affirming care right now, and the prerequisites I have to go through, while frustrating, and I still feel like are more than there should be, are manageable, and there's something I can, get through and figure out. It wasn't always this way. It might not always be this way, which is why organizations like this are really important. They aim to help trans activists gain funding, skills, and opportunities to create lasting change. They're very cool. You should check out their website, and I'll talk more about them throughout the month.
Yeah. Again, that is gate.ngo.
Oh yeah, I said the wrong web address. Listen to Monica. She's right. Gate.ngo, not gate.org. Gate.ngo. Yeah, you can donate, or if you're feeling really feisty, they also have a link where you can set up to hold your own fundraiser for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, happy Pride Month, everybody. We're celebrating a lot this month.
Not you yet.
Yeah. I have to split mine into 2. Sorry. So yeah, right now it's my straight half. My gay half is. It's so stupid. Shout out bisexuals. Slay.
Shout out bisexuals.
Yeah, that's my people. And yeah, so next week we are going to be talking about the butterfly package. We're going to split it into 2 parts since there's the actual live in Sao Paulo and there's the live in Buenos Aires, and that's right. And then also in between that is going to be our 50th episode of Weekly Coldplay, where we will be on the road.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Denver.
Yeah. Also, I also need to mention that the butterfly package will not have part 1 will not have any tour updates because we will be in Denver whenever that happens, and we can't record it anyway. Yeah, we have a funky recording schedule this week, so yeah, that's all. I'm excited for next week. I can't wait. I can't believe that we're leaving this weekend. to go to Denver to go see Coldplay. That's insane. That's crazy. Yeah, so I'm super excited. But anyway, my name is Monica.
My name is still Daniel.
And we are Weekly Coldplay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Weekly Coldplay. For more Coldplay content from us, check us out on Twitter at Weekly Coldplay and Instagram at weekly.coldplay. That is weekly, Coldplay. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow on wherever you're listening to the podcast on. Thank you again, and we'll be back next week with more Coldplay news.